Hey, this is Matt. Once again, what about another video? The paid request this time for Edward. Thank you so much for that. And for those interested in requesting pretty much any type of videos, topics, reactions, commentaries, whatever, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. Now, this is for 2 episodes of South Park, Season 10, Episode 14, and Season 11, Episode 1. So, to end Season 10 wasn't a bad episode. I thought it was kind of a weird way to end the season, but pretty much it's more of a Stan episode where his bike just gets towed. He needs the money to get it out, so he decides to be the coach of a Pee Wee hockey team. And then it plays off the cliches of sports movies like Mighty Ducks and such. And I thought it was pretty decently funny. I like that the Pee Wee hockey team are voiced by actual little kids, so that was a bit cute. They play with a lot of cliches, like one of the kids has cancer and he wants them to win the game, and the other kids are like, if we lose or we don't get cancer. And people are talking to Stan as if he's an adult with all these problems, but he's like, I don't know. Like, I don't know what to say. I don't know. Like, they treat him as an adult even though he's still a little kid. The father's trying to give him about his harsh flashback to, but Stan barely remembers and doesn't care. Just when he was in hockey back in the day, he didn't get a puck in, and the dad takes it so hard, but Stan's like, whatever. Like, I barely remember it. Again, all the cliches trying to do a tilt on it. Like, well, we need someone who can really help the team. So, like, for hockey, we need a Canadian, so they get Ike, Kyle's brother. But it doesn't matter because when the kids play, they're very slow. And you think, like in movies, sports teams, they make the sport look very exciting. And they did like a song. Here they did a song from Blur. Remember, if you ever seen Starship Troopers, some of their marketing, there's that song, woohoo, woohoo. They did that song in there, so it's playing, but the game is being very slow because they're little hockey, Pee Wee kids that can barely know what to do. So there's all this fast-paced song and yeah from the crowd, but then the kids are like, again, playing off sports movie cliches. At one point they tie, and then they're going to play another game, and Stan's trying to rile up the team like a sports movie, but then the other team won't play, and they go, well, you could play the Red Wings, like these adults, and Stan's like, what? And then the little kids get absolutely obliterated. Absolutely obliterated. They lose big time, get the shit kicked out of them, and it is a happy ending like a sports movie, but it's for the other team. So these adult Red Wings, they play Queen's We Are the Champions, my friends, and people are hugging, and the Red Wings players hugging his dad, like all the sports cliches, and Stan's just looking there going, and then the little kid at the end finds out his team lost and dies from cancer. I thought, wow, that's a pretty mean-spirited way to end it. I mean, I know it's supposed to be, again, playing off every cliche and doing the twist, the swerve on it, but that doesn't come off as pretty mean-spirited. But I know it's South Park and you're not supposed to take it that seriously. And people could be like, oh shit, and laugh at like the shock value of it. It would have been nice to see some of the other characters in there, like Cartman and Butters, and maybe what kind of sports cliches they could be a part of. Like, if we need someone to train these kids, or Cartman's training them, and either the little kids are picking on Cartman, or like put Butters in there. Like, it would have been nice to see some of the other kids, other characters in there. I'm really starting to more and more dislike the father character, Randy. I know a lot of people like that character, but when he comes on, I just really just dread it. The one time I didn't mind him was that Rocky parody, but I think it's more of the Rocky music and parody and less of Randy. But here it's just like, eh. So I wasn't really big on him being gunno about Stan and his flashback. Oh, the other thing I didn't like is there's this running gag where a guy follows him with a record player and he plays it. It's like, Stan Marsh. He's doing like a fake trailer voice. Like when they had the Rob Schneider is the Carrot. Here he's doing that same type of voice. Stan Marsh thought he was doing this, but I just shut up, dude. I wish all that stuff was cut out. It just wasn't funny to me. But with the little Pee Wee hockey kids being voiced by actual little kids, the way Stan is over his out of his element in this sports movie cliche type of thing. That was, I thought, some of the better parts of the episode. So that made it a bit fun. But it was nice hearing songs like the Blur song and Queen's We Are the Champions in there. But episode 11, season 11, episode 1, I'd heard about this episode. I've seen people on YouTube react to it. It's the one with the Wheel of Fortune, and Stan's dad, Randy, is going to play. And, of course, you know how Wheel of Fortune plays. They revealed the letters. The question is, people who annoy you. And it's in blank GGERS. I do like that the crowd and the cameraman are like they're not oblivious to it. So I like that reaction from the crowd, like, what? So Randy's like, well, I can't say that out loud. Well, I mean, if you win, you get all this money. So Randy says the N-word. Now, the actual word is nag. Naggers. So Stan and the family are embarrassed, of course. The wife's like, I can't believe you said that on TV. Tolkien, the black kid, Stan tries to talk to him, and Tolkien's like, don't say it's that a big deal. And the whole gist of that is Stan at the end realizes, I don't get it, you're right. I don't get how it feels because I don't have that, so I wouldn't get how it feels. Now you get it, Stan. The N-word is used a lot in the episode. Randy apologizes to Jesse Jackson. I guess that was a thing where there were people who, if they did something that seemed racist, they would apologize to Jesse Jackson. And a lot of people said, well, wait a minute, Jesse Jackson doesn't represent all of us. So they play with that motif in this. And then the subplot is someone comes in for sensitivity speaking, and it's a little person, and Cartman keeps laughing at him. And while the little guy brushes it off, Cartman keeps laughing, and throughout the episode, ultimately, the little guy erupts in anger, curses him out, tries to make him feel bad. Cartman still laughs at him, and they have a fight at the end. That bit was kind of funny, especially the wrestling match at the end, where they both got their shirts off and like bare knuckle wrestling in like the mud or something. And some of the dialogue was kind of funny in their exchanges, where the little guy's trying to brush it off. I'm still standing, and Cartman goes, barely. Rise up to the occasion. Yeah, rise up. How high? How high you don't raise up? Like that stuff was a bit funny from Cartman. While Randy is trying to figure out what to do, an idea what they're trying to do is an interesting subject where I'm not going to, again, I'm not going to say the word, but people keep calling Randy something in, was it something inward or inward something? I think something inward to showcase white people that say that. And so they go, him and others go to the court, and the court system's like, wait a minute. They could say that to all white people? We'll ban that word. Meaning that if you had a word that was that offensive to white people, they would probably ban it and say it's against the law. But to have a word that awful against black people, you don't ban it. It shows the hypocrisy of the justice system. But to me, it's like, it's a horrible word, and it's a disgusting word. I do have friends that Sally, like Michael Keane, people still to this day call him that. When they wanted to get a rise out of him in Facebook, or because he didn't like a movie, people will call him that. And that just gets me pissed and wants me to beat the fuck out of those people, but, what can I do? It's an ugly word. It's a terrible word. I can understand using it only, I guess, when it's in a movie and you're portraying like awful people that use that word. God. Yeah, I mean, it's a fucking, just an ugly ass word, man. I'm surprised they got away with using it so often on the show. And like I said, it's understandable where their thought process is, well, why don't we ban that word? Of course, some people would say that if you do that, then what other words can be banned? And if one word can be banned, then two words can be banned. If two words can be banned, then three words can be banned. And then what gets into freedom of speech? I'm like, well, is it a slippery slope? I don't have the answer for that. Yeah, I don't have the answer for that. I just think that word sucks ass. But I get kind of the point they were making. I do think, like I think they could have incorporated that there would be a section of people saying, well, that's freedom of speech and you can't denounce freedom of speech, and maybe try to poke at that or try to argue that or against it, whatever try to have some type of, I mean, it's a cartoon, so not going to have discussion, but, a little bit more to it than that. I would say I prefer more the Cartman little person stuff, like when they're battling, the song "Are You Down with the Sickness" starts playing. I would say, again, the stuff with the N word, there's nothing I really found funny about it, but I get where Trey Parker, Matt Stone were going and what their, a bit of what their point was. The idea, let's say you did have a word, but it was against white people, would it be? It would seem a bit more realistic that that probably would have a type of ban or law to not say that word. I mean, they make a good point on that. But then it gets into, that is a bad word that shouldn't be used. But if you deal with away with one, can you deal away with two? If you deal away with two, can you deal away with three? If you deal away with three, can you deal away with 10? If you deal away with 10, then can you deal away with, is it against the law to call someone an asshole? Is it against the law to call someone a shithead? Is it against someone to say motherfucker? So, there's a difference between motherfucker and the N-word, but it's just, I don't know, it gets a bit of a discussion. I think that could have been something that could have been implemented more into that. This is a very, tough subject to deal with. So yeah, it's one of those episodes I wasn't really sure how to feel about it. Like I said, the stuff with Cartman, that stuff was a bit funny. And I do think the other stuff was, I think the guys, their heart was in the right place on it. Like I said, I likes to watch once because again, I've seen that on YouTube referenced where people have like the thumbnail of the Wheel of Fortune bit and like people reacting. So to see the full episode of this contest is nice to see, but it's not something I would ever watch again. I would say like season 10 episode 14 I enjoyed more, but season 11 episode 1 does have its merits. So with that said, thanks for watching, take care, we'll see you guys later, bye bye.